The Void's Edge bar was loud and crowded. Aliens from 50 different planets filled every corner. Some had tentacles, some had scales, some glowed in the dark. The air smelled like strange perfumes and burning metal. Marcus Kane sat at the bar, drunk and alone. He was a human pilot, far from Earth. His brown hair was messy, his flight jacket was dirty. He had been drinking for 3 hours. "Another drink," Marcus said to Korvac, the six-armed bartender. Korvac's blue skin shimmered under the bar lights. "Human, you have had enough. You can barely sit straight." Marcus laughed. "I'm fine, totally fine." But he was not fine. Marcus was lonely. He had been flying cargo ships alone for 3 years. No family, no friends, no wife. Just empty space and distant stars. The alcohol made his head spin. The room moved like water. He looked around at all the strange creatures in the bar. A tall gray alien with 4 eyes. A small purple creature with wings. A massive rock being that looked like a walking mountain. "None of them understand," Marcus mumbled. "None of them know what it's like to be alone." Korvac cleaned glasses with 4 arms while pouring drinks with the other 2. "Humans always complain about being alone, but you choose to fly solo. You choose to stay away from your colonies." Marcus knew Korvac was right, but the truth hurt. Suddenly, the alcohol made him feel brave, or stupid, maybe both. He stood up fast, too fast. The room spun. He grabbed the bar to stay balanced. "What are you doing?" Korvac asked nervously. Marcus climbed onto his bar stool. Then he stepped up onto the bar itself. His boots made loud sounds on the glass surface. "Human, get down!" Korvac reached for him with multiple arms, but Marcus was already standing tall. He spread his arms wide like a bird. The conversations around him became quieter. Aliens turned to stare at the drunk human standing on the bar. Marcus grinned. His face was red from the alcohol. His eyes were unfocused. "Listen up," he shouted. His voice echoed through the bar. "I have an announcement." The music stopped. Even the card players in the corner put down their game. Everyone was watching now. "I'm a human," Marcus yelled. "I'm 32 years old. I can fly any ship in the galaxy. I make decent money, and I'm lonely." Some aliens laughed. Others looked confused. The universal translator worked hard to convert his words into hundreds of languages. Marcus swayed on the bar but kept talking. "So here's my offer. Right here, right now." He threw his arms out wider. "Who wants to marry me?" The bar erupted in laughter. Aliens of every shape and size found this hilarious. The tentacled Xarians clicked their beaks in amusement. The rock beings rumbled with deep laughter. Even Korvac covered his face with 2 hands, embarrassed for the human. But then the laughter stopped. The air changed. It became cold, heavy, dangerous. The front door of the bar opened with a hiss. A figure stepped through the entrance. She was tall, very tall, 7 feet at least. Her skin was pale like moonlight. Her hair was long and black, flowing down her back like a dark river. She wore armor made of black metal that seemed to absorb light. But her eyes were the most terrifying thing. They glowed red, bright crimson red, like burning coals. Every alien in the bar recognized her immediately. The conversations died. The laughter vanished. Even the bravest warriors took steps backward. "No," someone whispered. "Not her. Please, not her." The woman walked forward slowly. Her boots made no sound. She moved like a shadow, like death itself. Marcus, still drunk, squinted at her. "Who's that?" Korvac's voice shook. "That's Lyraxa, the blood drinker. She's a vampire from the Crimson Nebula. She's killed more beings than you ever met. She's the most dangerous bounty hunter in 12 systems." Marcus felt the alcohol fog lift slightly from his brain. Danger, real danger. Every instinct screamed at him to run. Lyraxa stopped directly in front of the bar. She looked up at Marcus with those burning red eyes. Her face was beautiful, but cold, ancient, deadly. The bar was silent. No one breathed. Then Lyraxa smiled. Her teeth were sharp, very sharp. "I accept," she said. Her voice was smooth like silk, but hard like steel. Marcus's heart stopped. "What?" "Your proposal," Lyraxa said calmly. "I accept. I will marry you, human." She reached up with one pale hand. Her fingers wrapped around Marcus's ankle. Her touch was ice cold. "By the ancient laws of my people, a marriage proposal made publicly and accepted publicly is binding forever." Marcus tried to pull away, but her grip was like iron. "Wait, I was joking. I was drunk. I didn't mean—" "Too late." Lyraxa pulled him down from the bar effortlessly. He fell into her arms. She caught him easily, holding him like he weighed nothing. Her red eye stared into his. Her face was inches away. "You belong to me now, Marcus Kane, and I always collect what is mine." The bar door slammed shut behind them.
Marcus woke up in a room he did not recognize. His head hurt badly. The alcohol still made his thoughts fuzzy. He tried to move but could not. His hands were locked in metal restraints. His feet, too. "What the—" He pulled hard against the chains. They did not break. The room was dark. Red lights glowed along the walls. Everything was made of black metal. It looked like the inside of a warship, a very expensive warship. "You are a wheat." Marcus jerked his head toward the voice. Lyraxa stood in the shadows near the door. Her red eyes glowed in the darkness like warning lights. "Let me go," Marcus shouted. "This is kidnapping. I'll report you to the Galactic Council." Lyraxa laughed. The sound was cold. "The Council has no power over vampire law, and you agreed to marry me in front of 50 witnesses." "I was drunk. It was a joke." "Perhaps." Lyraxa walked closer. Her movements were smooth and predatory, like a cat stalking prey. "But vampire marriages are not jokes. They are eternal, binding, unbreakable." She reached the edge of the table where Marcus was restrained. Her pale fingers traced along the metal edge. "When a vampire accepts a marriage proposal, a blood bond begins," she explained. "Our souls connect, our lives link together. If you die, I die. If I die, you die." Marcus felt his stomach drop. "That's insane." "That is vampire law. It has been this way for 10,000 years. "Then unbond me. Break it. There has to be a way." Lyraxa's expression did not change. "There is only one way to break a vampire blood bond." "What? Tell me." "Death," she said simply. "Both of us must die. That is the only way." Marcus stopped struggling. Fear filled his chest like ice water. This was real. This was actually happening. "Why?" he whispered. "Why me? You could have any being in the galaxy. Why choose a random drunk human pilot?" Lyraxa was quiet for a long moment. Then she pressed a button on the wall. A holographic screen appeared in the air. It showed Marcus's face. Then it showed his DNA structure. Then medical charts, biological data. "6 months ago," Lyraxa began, "my people discovered something. Vampire reproduction has failed for 300 years. We are dying out. Our species faces extinction." She touched the hologram. It zoomed in on Marcus's blood cells. "But then our scientists found something miraculous. There exists a genetic marker, extremely rare, found in only 1 in 10 billion humans. This marker makes human blood compatible with vampire biology." Marcus stared at his own DNA floating in the air. Compatible how? Your blood can restore vampire fertility, Loraxa said. Her voice was tight, controlled. You, Marcus Kane, have this marker. Your blood is the cure we have searched for across 1,000 worlds. Marcus felt his stomach drop. So you're going to... what? Drain my blood? Kill me? No, Loraxa shook her head. Dead blood is useless. The marker only works in living donors. You must stay alive, you must stay healthy, and you must give your blood willingly. Willingly? Marcus laughed, but it sounded scared. You chained me to a table. The chains are for your protection, not mine. Before Marcus could ask what that meant, an alarm blared through the ship. Red emergency lights flashed. The whole vessel shook violently. Loraxa's head snapped toward the door, her body tensed. For the first time, Marcus saw something on her face he did not expect. Fear. They found us, she whispered. Who found us? The ship shook again, harder this time. Something exploded nearby. The sound was deafening. Loraxa moved fast. She pressed buttons on his restraints. The chains released. Marcus fell forward, but she caught him. Listen carefully, she said urgently. There is another vampire clan, the Crimson Hand. They do not want to save our species through cooperation. They want to harvest all humans with your marker, enslave them, farm them like cattle. Another explosion. The lights flickered. They have been hunting you for months. I found you first. I married you to protect you under vampire law. As my husband, you are under my protection. They cannot touch you without declaring war on my bloodline. Marcus's mind raced. You married me to save me? I married you to save both of us, she corrected. My species needs you alive and willing, not enslaved and broken. The door to the room exploded inward. Smoke poured through. Through the gray clouds, Marcus saw shapes moving, fast, impossibly fast. Loraxa pushed Marcus behind her. She drew 2 long, curved blades from her back. They glowed with red energy. Stay behind me, she commanded. 3 figures emerged from the smoke. They were vampires, tall, pale, red eyes burning. They wore armor covered in dried blood. Their faces were twisted with hunger. The leader smiled. His fangs were longer than Loraxa's, sharper. Sister, he said mockingly, you should have brought the human to the council. Now he dies, and you die with him. Loraxa raised her blades. Over my corpse, brother. That can be arranged. The vampires attacked. They moved like lightning, like monsters from nightmares. Loraxa met them with equal speed. Her blades flashed. Blood sprayed. The room became a war zone. Marcus pressed himself against the wall. He had never seen anything like this. The vampires moved faster than his eyes could follow. They jumped off walls. They twisted through the air. Every movement was deadly. Loraxa fought 3 vampires at once. She was incredible, beautiful, and terrifying, but she was also outnumbered. One vampire broke through her defense. He rushed towards Marcus, his claws extended, his mouth opened wide. Those terrible fangs aimed for Marcus's throat. Marcus closed his eyes, but the bite never came. He opened his eyes. Loraxa stood between him and the attacker. The vampire's claws had pierced through her stomach. Blood poured down her armor. She had taken the hit for him. No! Marcus shouted. Loraxa grabbed the vampire's arm. She twisted hard. Bones cracked. The vampire screamed. She threw the vampire across the room with superhuman strength. But she was wounded. Badly. The other 2 vampires saw their chance. They both rushed forward together. Loraxa couldn't fight them both, not while injured, not while protecting Marcus. She looked back at him. Her red eyes met his. In that moment, Marcus saw something he did not expect. She cared. She actually cared about him. Run, she whispered. Then everything exploded. The ship's wall blew open. The vacuum of space tried to pull everything out. Marcus grabbed onto a pipe. Loraxa grabbed his arm with one hand, while her other hand stabbed a blade into the floor to anchor us. The attacking vampires were not so lucky. The explosion sucked them towards the hole. They screamed as they were pulled into the void. Alarm screamed. The ship was dying. "The escape pods!" Laraxa yelled over the noise. Blood still poured from her wound. "We have 30 seconds." She dragged Marcus through the tilting corridors. They ran through smoke and sparks. The ship was falling apart around them. They reached the escape pod bay. Laraxa threw Marcus into the nearest escape pod. She jumped in after him. Her fingers flew over the controls. "Wait!" Marcus grabbed her bleeding stomach. "You're hurt. You need—" "I will heal." She punched the launch button. "Vampires are hard to kill." The pod shot away from the dying ship just as it exploded. The blast wave hit them hard. Everything spun. When the spinning stopped, they were floating in deep space. Just the two of them in a tiny escape pod, alone. Laraxa slumped against the wall. Her wound was healing, but slowly, too slowly. Marcus stared at her. This deadly vampire bounty hunter had just saved his life multiple times. "Why?" he asked quietly. "You could have let them take me. You could have—" "I told you," Laraxa interrupted. Her voice was weak. "We are blood bonded now. Your death is my death." She paused. "And perhaps I do not want to save my species by becoming monsters." She closed her eyes. Her breathing was shallow. Marcus looked at her pale face, at the blood on her armor, at the warrior who had protected him against her own kind. He made a decision. "Then I'll help you," he said firmly, "willingly, like you need, but only if you promise me something." Larax's eyes opened slightly. "What?" "Promise me we save humans and vampires. No slavery, no harvesting. We find a way that helps everyone." Laraxa was quiet for a long moment. Then slowly, she smiled. A real smile. Not cold, not predatory. "Deal," she whispered. "My stubborn human husband." Then her eyes closed completely. She fell unconscious as the escape pod drifted through dark space. Behind them, the Crimson Hand ships appeared on the scanners. They were coming, fast, and Marcus had no weapons, no plan, no way to fight back.
The escape pod drifted silently through space. Marcus held Laraxa's unconscious body. Her skin was cold, too cold. Her breathing was shallow. The wound in her stomach was still bleeding. It was not healing fast enough. "Come on," Marcus whispered. "Don't die on me. You said vampires are hard to kill." The pod's computer beeped. A warning message flashed on the screen in red letters. 3 hostile ships approaching. Arrival time, 4 minutes. Marcus cursed. He looked around the tiny escape pod. There were no weapons, no shields, no way to fight back. The pod was designed for one thing only, survival, not combat. He checked the navigation system. The nearest safe station was 12 hours away. They would be caught in 4 minutes. "Think," Marcus told himself. "Think like a human." That is when he saw it. The emergency supply cabinet. He rushed over and opened it. Inside were basic survival items, oxygen masks, water pouches, medical supplies, and something else. Plasma flares. Marcus grabbed the flares. They were meant to signal rescuers. They burned incredibly hot and bright. Ships could see them from thousands of kilometers away. An idea formed in his mind. A crazy idea. A dangerous idea. But it might work. He looked at the scanner again. The 3 vampire ships were getting closer. 2 minutes now. Marcus pulled up the pod's fuel controls. Every escape pod carried a small amount of liquid hydrogen fuel for maneuvering thrusters. It was kept in a tank behind the wall. He grabbed a wrench from the toolkit. He started unscrewing the access panel. "Please let this work," he muttered. Behind him, Laraxa stirred. Her eyes opened slightly. "Marcus, what are you doing?" "Saving our lives," he said without looking back. "Stay still. Conserve your energy." "The ships." "I know about the ships." The access panel came off. Marcus could see the fuel tank. He carefully disconnected one of the fuel lines. Hydrogen gas began leaking into the pod's cargo section. He sealed the door between the cargo area and the passenger area. 1 minute until contact. The vampire ships appeared on visual, 3 black vessels shaped like blades. They moved fast and silent, like sharks hunting in dark water. Marcus opened the communication channel. His hand was shaking, but his voice was steady. "Attention, Crimson Hand vessels," he said clearly. "This is Marcus Kane. I know you want me alive. I have information about my blood marker, about how to replicate it. I will trade this information for safe passage." There was silence for a moment. Then a voice responded. It was the vampire from before, the one who called Lyraxa sister. "You lie, human. Humans always lie when they are trapped." "Maybe," Marcus said, "but can you afford to risk it? If you destroy this pod, you lose me. You lose the information. You lose everything." Another pause, longer this time. "We are not fools," the vampire said. "We will board your pod. If you resist, you die. If you lie, you die slowly." "Understood," Marcus said. He cut the communication. Lyraxa tried to sit up. "Marcus, what are you planning?" "Something stupid." He helped her into a seat. He strapped her in tightly. "Hold your breath when I tell you to." "What?" "Trust me." The vampire ships surrounded the escape pod. Marcus could see their docking clamps extending. They were going to board. He waited. His heart pounded. His hands gripped the plasma flares. The docking clamp attached to the pod with a heavy thunk. He could hear movement. The vampires were entering the cargo section. "Now!" Marcus shouted. He threw all 6 plasma flares into the cargo section before slamming the door shut. The flares ignited on impact. They burned at 3,000 degrees. The hydrogen gas that Marcus had leaked into the cargo area ignited instantly. The explosion was massive. The entire cargo section of the escape pod blew apart. The blast went outward through the docking clamp. It ripped through the vampire ship's hull like a bullet through paper. The vampire ship exploded in a ball of fire. But Marcus was not done. The explosion pushed the escape pod away violently. Marcus had calculated this. He fired the pod's thrusters at maximum power. They shot forward at impossible speed, toward the second vampire ship. "Brace!" Marcus yelled. The escape pod slammed into the second ship's engine section. Metal screamed. Sparks flew everywhere. The vampire ship's reactor went critical. It exploded. 2 ships down. But the third ship was smart. It stayed back. It fired plasma cannons at the escape pod. The shots barely missed. One grazed the side. Alarms screamed. The pod was taking damage. "We cannot outrun them," Lyraxa said weakly. She was pale from blood loss. "I know," Marcus said. He was looking at the navigation screen, at the asteroid field ahead of them. He made another crazy decision. He aimed the pod straight into the asteroid field. "No," Lyraxa gasped. "That field is deadly. No pilot has ever—" "No vampire pilot," Marcus corrected. "But I'm human, and humans fly where others fear to go." He pushed the thrusters to maximum. The pod shot forward into the field of spinning rocks. Asteroids the size of buildings tumbled through space. They moved in unpredictable patterns. One wrong move meant death. Marcus flew like a demon. He twisted between asteroids. He dove under one the size of a moon. He rolled sideways to avoid another. His hands moved across the controls faster than thought. This was what he was born to do. This was why he flew solo through the most dangerous routes in the galaxy. Humans were not stronger than vampires. They were not faster. They were not tougher. But humans were pilots, the best pilots in the known universe. Behind him, the vampire ship tried to follow. It smashed through a small asteroid, then another, but it could not match Marcus's movements. It tried to go under a massive spinning rock. It did not make it. The asteroid caught the ship's wing. The ship spun out of control. It crashed into 3 more asteroids before exploding in a silent flash. Marcus guided the pod out of the asteroid field. His hands were shaking, his heart was racing, but he was grinning. 3 vampire warships destroyed by a drunk cargo pilot in an unarmed escape pod, Marcus said breathlessly. Lyraxa stared at him. Her red eyes were wide. For the first time, Marcus saw something new in her expression. Respect. Real respect. "How?" she whispered. "How did you do that?" "I'm human," Marcus said simply. "We improvise." Lyraxa started to laugh. Then the laugh turned into a cough. Blood came from her mouth. Her wound had opened again during the violent maneuvers. "Lyraxa!" Marcus unbuckled and rushed to her. "Stay with me." "I need blood. Vampire blood, or I will die. Where do we get vampire blood?" She looked at him with fading eyes. "You cannot. There is no vampire blood for thousands of kilometers. I am sorry, Marcus. The bond will kill you too." "No," Marcus grabbed her face. "No, you don't get to die. Not after I just saved us." He looked at his own arm. An idea came to him. Another crazy idea. "You said my blood is compatible with vampires, right? You said it can help your species." "Yes, but then take it. Take my blood." Lyraxa's eyes widened. "No, if I feed on you, I might not stop. The hunger is too strong. I could kill you." "You won't," Marcus said firmly, "because you are not like them. You are not a monster." He rolled up his sleeve. He held his wrist near her mouth. "Drink," he commanded. "That's an order from your husband." Lyraxa hesitated. Her fangs extended. Her eyes turned completely red. The hunger was consuming her. "Please," Marcus whispered. "Trust me like I trusted you." Lyraxa's control broke. She grabbed his arm. Her fangs sunk into his wrist. Pain shot through Marcus's body. It felt like fire, like electricity, like his blood was burning. But he did not pull away. Lyraxa drank. Her throat moved. Her wound began to close. Color returned to her skin. Marcus felt himself getting weaker. His vision blurred. His head felt light. "Lyraxa," he said softly. "That's enough." She did not stop. "Lyraxa, please." Still drinking. Marcus's vision went dark at the edges. He was dying. She was draining him. With his last strength, he touched her face, gently. "Come back to me," he whispered. Lyraxa's eyes snapped open. The red color faded to normal. She pulled her fangs out of his wrist. Horror filled her face. "Marcus, no, what have I done?" She pressed her hand over his wound, but blood was still flowing. Too much blood. "I am sorry," she cried. Tears ran down her face. "I am so sorry. I could not stop. The hunger was—" "It's okay," Marcus said weakly. He was pale, shaking. "Did it work? Are you healed?" "Yes, but you—" "Good," he smiled. "Then it was worth it." His eyes closed. His body went limp. "Marcus!" Lyraxa screamed. "Marcus!" The escape pod's computer beeped. Warning, approaching unknown vessel. Size, massive. Origin, unknown. Through the window, a shadow fell across them. A ship, but not like any ship Lyraxa had ever seen. It was enormous.
Marcus opened his eyes slowly. Everything was white. Too white. He tried to sit up, but his body felt wrong, different, stronger somehow. "Easy, human." The voice was ancient. It sounded like stones grinding together, like the voice of time itself. Marcus turned his head. He was lying on a bed made of crystal. The room around him was massive. The walls were covered in glowing symbols. They moved like living things, shifting, changing, telling stories in a language he could not read. 3 figures stood nearby. They were vampires, but not like Lyraxa. These vampires were old, impossibly old. Their skin was gray like ash. Their eyes glowed white instead of red. They wore robes that seemed made of starlight. "Where am I?" Marcus asked. His throat was dry. "The sanctuary," one of the elder vampires said. "A place hidden from the galaxy for 10,000 years. A place where truth sleeps." Marcus tried to sit up, but his body felt wrong, different, stronger somehow. "What did you do to me?" "Nothing," the second elder said. "Your body did this itself. Your blood has awakened." "Awakened? What does that mean?" The third elder stepped forward. This one was female. Her white eyes studied Marcus carefully.
Tell me, human, do you know the true history of vampires? Marcus shook his head. Only what everyone knows. You're an ancient species. You feed on blood. You're nearly immortal. Wrong, the female elder said. We are not a species. We are a curse. Marcus felt cold suddenly. What? The elder waved her hand. The symbols on the walls changed. They formed images, a story told in light. 15,000 years ago, she began, there was a war between two great civilizations, humans and another species called the Archons. The Archons were powerful. They could manipulate matter with their minds. They built weapons that destroyed stars. The images showed massive battles, fleets of ships burning, planets exploding. The humans were losing, the elder continued, so they created a biological weapon, a virus designed to infect Archons and make them weak, make them dependent on human blood to survive. Marcus felt his stomach twist. You're saying vampires are infected Archons? Yes, the virus worked too well. It did not just weaken the Archons, it changed them completely, made them hunger for the very species that created them, turned them into predators. The images showed Archons transforming, their bodies changing, their eyes turning red. The war ended, the elder said quietly, but not because anyone won. Both sides nearly destroyed each other. The surviving Archons became vampires, and they hunted humans for thousands of years. Revenge disguised as hunger. Marcus stepped back. This is insane. If this is true, why doesn't anyone know? Because both sides buried the truth, the elder explained. Humans forgot they created vampires. Vampires forgot they were once something else. Only we elders remember. We kept ourselves alive to wait. To wait for what? The elder pointed at Marcus. For you. Me? I'm nobody. I'm just a cargo pilot. No, the female elder's voice was firm. You carry the original human bloodline, the pure genetic code from before the war, the code that created the vampire virus. Your blood does not just help vampires reproduce, it can cure them, it can reverse the infection, it can turn vampires back into Archons. Marcus felt like the floor dropped away. That's impossible. Look at your veins, the elder commanded. Marcus looked down. The blue glow was brighter now. It pulsed like a heartbeat. When Lyraxa drank from you, the process began. Your blood bonded with hers. Now you are changing too, becoming something new, part human, part vampire, part Archon. What does that mean? Before the elder could answer, the door exploded open. Lyraxa burst in. Her armor was damaged. Blood covered her face. Behind her, sounds of fighting echoed through the corridors. The Crimson Hand found us. They brought an army, hundreds of ships. The elders did not look surprised. They looked sad. It is as we feared. The Crimson Hand knows the truth. They do not want vampires to be cured. They want to remain predators. They want to keep the curse. Why? Marcus asked. Because power corrupts, the elder answered. As vampires, they are stronger than most species, faster, nearly immortal. If they become Archons again, they lose that power. They become vulnerable, mortal. Lyraxa grabbed Marcus's arm. We need to leave now. But the elders blocked their path. No, the first elder said. Marcus cannot leave, not yet. His transformation is not complete. If he goes now, the blood bond will fail. Both of you will die. How long? Lyraxa demanded. 3 hours. His body needs 3 hours to finish changing. An explosion shook the entire ship, closer this time. We do not have 3 hours, Lyraxa yelled. The female elder looked at Marcus. There is another way, faster, but dangerous. "What way?" Marcus asked. "You must drink vampire blood, complete the bond fully. It will accelerate your transformation, but the pain will be extreme, and there is a 50% chance your human body will reject the change. You will die." Another explosion. The lights flickered. Marcus looked at Lyraxa. Her red eyes were filled with worry. "Do it," he said. "Marcus, no! Do it!" He grabbed her shoulders. "We don't have time to argue. If I die, you die anyway because of the bond, right?" Lyraxa nodded slowly. "Then we gamble," Marcus said. "That's what humans do. We take risks." Lyraxa's hands were shaking. She raised her wrist to her mouth, her fangs extended. She bit into her own wrist. Black blood flowed. She pressed her bleeding wrist to Marcus's mouth. "Drink." Marcus hesitated for only a second, then he drank. The blood tasted like metal and fire, like drinking lightning. Pain exploded through his entire body. Every nerve screamed. His bones felt like they were breaking and reforming. His muscles tore and rebuilt. He fell to his knees. Lyraxa held him. "Stay with me," she whispered. "Stay with me, my stubborn human." Marcus's vision went white, then red, then black. Colors he had never seen before filled his sight. He could hear everything. The fighting in the corridor sounded like it was happening inside his skull. He could smell blood from kilometers away. He could feel the heartbeat of every living thing on the ship. His body convulsed, changed, evolved, and then, suddenly, it stopped. Marcus gasped for air. He opened his eyes. The world looked different, sharper, clearer, more alive. He stood up easily. His body felt powerful, perfect. Every movement was precise and controlled. "Marcus," Lyraxa stared. "Your eyes." Marcus looked at his reflection in the crystalline wall. His eyes glowed, but not red like vampires, not white like the elders. They glowed blue, pure blue like Earth's oceans. "The transformation worked," the female elder whispered in awe. "He is the first true hybrid in 15,000 years. He is what both species were meant to become." Marcus felt power flowing through him. He could sense Lyraxa's presence like she was part of his own body. He could feel the life force of every living thing on the ship. Another explosion, much closer. The door at the end of the corridor burst open. Crimson-hand vampires poured through, dozens of them. Leading them was Lyraxa's brother. His face was twisted with rage. "Kill them all! Kill the human! Kill the elders! Kill anyone who wants to end our reign!" The vampires charged. Lyraxa drew her blades. The elders raised their hands, preparing to fight. But Marcus stepped forward. He raised one hand. Blue light exploded from his palm. The charging vampires stopped. They could not move. They were frozen in place by invisible force. Marcus's eyes blazed with blue fire. "No more fighting." His voice echoed with power. It was not just his voice. It was something ancient, something that predated the war, the voice of the Archons. "I have seen the truth." His words carried weight that pressed down on everyone. "I have lived both sides, human and vampire, and I say, this curse ends now." He clenched his fist. The frozen vampires screamed. Blue light surrounded them. Their bodies began to change. Their red eyes faded. Their fangs shortened. Their pale skin took color. They were transforming, turning back into Archons. Lyraxa's brother fought the change. "No, I will not give up my power. I am eternal." But Marcus's power was too strong. The transformation continued. Within seconds, 20 dozen vampires became something else. They collapsed to the ground, gasping, confused, changed. Marcus turned to Lyraxa. "I can cure all vampires, every single one."
The vampire homeworld was beautiful and terrifying. The planet was called Crimson Dawn. It had 3 moons that glowed red in the night sky. The cities below were massive. Towers of black stone reached towards space. 12 billion vampires lived on this world.
12 billion souls trapped in a curse they did not choose. Marcus stood on the bridge of the Elder ship. Below him, the planet waited. Behind him, 5,000 enemy warships approached. They would arrive in 30 minutes. "Are you ready?" Laraxa asked. She stood beside him, her hand in his. Marcus felt the power flowing through his veins. The blue light pulsed stronger now. He could sense every vampire on the planet below. 12 billion minds, 12 billion hearts beating with stolen blood. "I am ready," he said. The female elder approached. "The broadcast system is prepared. When you speak, every vampire on Crimson Dawn will hear you. Every screen, every communication device, even their implants. They cannot ignore it. They cannot turn it off." "Good," Marcus said, "because what I am about to tell them will change everything. The Crimson Hand fleet will attack the moment you begin broadcasting," Laraxa warned. "My brother will try to kill you before you finish." Marcus smiled. "Then you will have to protect me, like you did before." Laraxa's eyes glowed red. "With my life." "No," Marcus touched her face gently. "Not with your life, with your strength. I need you alive. We both survive this, together. That is the only acceptable outcome." She kissed him. "Then we survive together, my insane human husband." The elder activated the broadcast system. "You are live. The entire planet is watching." Marcus took a deep breath. Then he spoke. "My name is Marcus Kane. I am human, and I am here to tell you a truth that has been hidden for 15,000 years." On the planet below, 12 billion vampires stopped what they were doing. They looked at screens, at holograms, at each other. Who was this human? Why was he interrupting their lives? "You are not vampires by choice. You are vampires because of a weapon, a biological weapon created by humans during an ancient war. You were once called Archons. You were powerful. You could shape matter with your minds. You built civilizations that touched the stars." Murmurs spread across the planet. What was this human saying? Lies? Truth? "But humans feared you," Marcus said, "so they created a virus, a curse. It changed you, made you depend on blood, made you hunt the very species that created you. It turned you into predators." The murmurs became shouts, anger, confusion, denial. "I know you do not believe me," Marcus said calmly, "so let me prove it." He raised his hand. Blue light flowed from his palm. The light filled the view screen. It showed images, memories pulled from the elders' minds, the ancient war, the creation of the virus, the transformation of Archons into vampires. Undeniable proof. 12 billion vampires watched in horror, in rage, in sorrow. You were robbed of your true nature, robbed of your choice. But today, I offer you that choice back. He held up his glowing wrist. My blood can cure you. It can reverse the virus. It can turn you back into Archons. You will lose your immortality. You will lose your strength, but you will gain something more valuable. He paused. Freedom. The planet erupted in chaos. Some vampires screamed in anger. Others cried in relief. Families argued. Friends fought. The truth was tearing their society apart. But Marcus was not finished. The Crimson Hand does not want you to have this choice. They want you to keep you as vampires, keep you as predators, because they like having power over you. They like being the strongest. He pointed at the approaching fleet on the screen. Right now, 5,000 warships are coming to kill me, to destroy the cure, to keep you enslaved to this curse forever. The Crimson Hand has even allied with the Swarm. They have betrayed you to maintain their power. That was the breaking point. On the planet below, vampires turned on the Crimson Hand soldiers. Riots broke out in the streets. The civil war Marcus predicted had begun. Larax's brother's face appeared on the communication screen. His expression was pure hatred. "You have destroyed everything," he screamed. "You have turned my people against me." "No," Marcus said calmly. "I gave them a choice. You wanted to take that choice away. That is why they turn against you." "Then you will die." The brother cut the communication. The 5,000 warships opened fire. Plasma beams lit up space, missiles launched by the hundreds. The Elder ship's shields held, but barely. "We cannot survive this assault for long," the Elder pilot shouted. Marcus closed his eyes. He reached out with his new senses. He could feel the vampire ships, the swarm vessels, every weapon, every engine, every crew member. And he felt something else, something wrong. The swarm ships were not just attacking, they were positioning themselves, surrounding the planet, creating a blockade. "They are not here to help the Crimson Hand," Laraxa said. "They want to consume the planet, all 12 billion vampires, the largest feeding in swarm history." Horror filled the bridge. "We have to warn them," Laraxa shouted. Marcus opened the broadcast again. "Attention! The swarm is not your ally. They are surrounding the planet. They plan to consume." An explosion cut him off. A swarm ship had fired a weapon directly at their broadcast antenna. The connection died. "No!" Marcus slammed his fist on the console. On the planet below, vampires were too busy fighting each other to notice the swarm blockade tightening. The civil war was playing into the swarm's hands. "We are trapped," the Elder said quietly. "The swarm will wait until the vampires exhaust themselves fighting. Then they will harvest everyone, us included." Marcus's mind raced. Human ingenuity. Think. He looked at the swarm ships, thousands of them, all identical, all controlled by the vampire homeworld was beautiful and terrifying. The planet was called Crimson Dawn. It had 3 moons that glowed red in the night sky. The cities below were massive. Towers of black stone reached towards space. 12 billion vampires lived on this world. 12 billion souls trapped in a curse they did not choose. Marcus stood on the bridge of the Elder ship. Below him, the planet waited. Behind him, 5,000 enemy warships approached. They would arrive in 30 minutes. "Are you ready?" Laraxa asked. She stood beside him, her hand in his. Marcus felt the power flowing through his veins. The blue light pulsed stronger now. He could sense every vampire on the planet below. 12 billion minds, 12 billion hearts beating with stolen blood. "I am ready," he said. The female Elder approached. "The broadcast system is prepared. When you speak, every vampire on Crimson Dawn will hear you. Every screen, every communication device, even their implants. They cannot ignore it. They cannot turn it off." "Good," Marcus said, "because what I am about to tell them will change everything. The Crimson Hand fleet will attack the moment you begin broadcasting," Laraxa warned. "My brother will try to kill you before you finish." Marcus smiled. "Then you will have to protect me, like you did before." Laraxa's eyes glowed red. "With my life." "No," Marcus touched her face gently. "Not with your life, with your strength. I need you alive. We both survive this, together. That is the only acceptable outcome." She kissed him. "Then we survive together, my insane human husband." The Elder activated the broadcast system. "You are live. The entire planet is watching." Marcus took a deep breath. Then he spoke. "My name is Marcus Kane. I am human, and I am here to tell you a truth that has been hidden for 15,000 years." On the planet below, 12 billion vampires stopped what they were doing. They looked at screens, at holograms, at each other. Who was this human? Why was he interrupting their lives? You are not vampires by choice. You are vampires because of a weapon, a biological weapon created by humans during an ancient war. You were once called archons. You were powerful. You could shape matter with your minds. You built civilizations that touched the stars. Murmurs spread across the planet. What was this human saying? Lies? Truth? But humans feared you, Marcus said, so they created a virus, a curse. It changed you, made you depend on blood, made you hunt the very species that created you. It turned you into predators. The murmurs became shouts, anger, confusion, denial. I know you do not believe me, Marcus said calmly, so let me prove it. He raised his hand. Blue light flowed from his palm. The light filled the view screen. It showed images, memories pulled from the elders' minds, the ancient war, the creation of